the barbed wire fence. Katie squared her shoulders, not wanting the children to notice the razor of panic cutting through her, and returned to her desk. Raindrops pinged against the tin roof. She disregarded the noisy distraction and continued correcting the stack of papers before her until the thrumming annoyance changed into a heavy barrage of what sounded like mothballs beating down on the roof. That wasn't easily ignored. She clenched her pen. Noah Zook, seated in the back of the room, raised his hand. "Teacher?" "Yeah, Noah." She cleared her throat to settle the quiver and hoped his question wouldn't require a lengthy reply. He pointed to the window. "That's hail coming down." She pushed off her chair just as a cast-iron bell clanged in the distance. The faint sound didn't register until she reached the window and looked outside. Hailstones littered the lawn. Katie whirled around to face the children. "Everyone," she took a calming breath before continuing, "please hold hands and form a line at the door." She motioned to two of the oldest boys, Noah and Eli. They hurried to her, and she pulled them aside. "Once we're outside, I'll need your help to open the cellar doors." The boys nodded as the two youngest students sidled up to Katie. "I'm scared." Ella Sue's lips trembled. Mary Lapp whimpered, "Me too," and clutched Katie's dress. When a low rumble of thunder vibrated the glass in the windows, even some of the older students echoed their fear. Katie squatted to the 5-year-old's level and put her arms around them. "God is watching over us, do you know that?" When they nodded solemnly, she stood to address the others. "Everyone hold hands." She made a quick scan of the group, then headed for the door. "We're going straight to the cellar. Do not let go of each other." She touched Eli's shoulder, and he and Noah opened the schoolhouse door. Short bursts of whirling wind kicked up gravel from the driveway and pushed them a few steps backward. She wasn't sure which stung worse, being pelted by gravel or hailstones. Katie tucked her chin against her chest and pressed forward, leading the way. The boys lost their straw hats in the wind as they ran ahead to the side of the building. Noah and Eli worked in unison, yanking on the cellar's wooden door. Once it flapped open on its hinges, the children filed into the underground storage area. Katie entered last and tugged on the door. "It's stuck," she yelled over the boisterous wind. "Give me a hand, boys." Her muscles quivered, fighting against the wind's forceful pull. Finally, with the boys' help, she managed to get the door closed. The storage area went black except for a few pinholes of light surrounding the doorframe. They were safe for the moment, but with only a flimsy inside latch, she wasn't sure how long the hinges would hold under the wind's force. Katie hunched over to avoid hitting her head on a beam and inched away from the door. "Is everyone sitting?" Her voice cracked, and she silently chided herself to control it. For the sake of the children, she must remain strong. "Yeah," they replied in unison. "I'm cold," said one girl. "We all are, Sarah," one of the boys replied sharply. "This isn't the time to get lippy now." Katie blindly followed the foundation's stone wall and, finding an empty space, lowered herself to the cold dirt floor. She inhaled deeply, trying to calm herself, but instead gagged on the musty odor. The cramped space wasn't meant to house a classroom of children. Rather, the old dugout root cellar offered a dry storage area for the wood under the school. At least the diminished winter's supply meant more space. A blessing for sure. "As I say your name, I want you to answer." Katie called out the first names that came to mind, pausing between each one to listen for their reply. "Rebecca Fisher? Sarah Plank? Emily Trombley? Peter Wise? Esther Miller? James Yoder?" She stopped. "James? He stayed home sick today, remember?" "Yeah."